Alright, so really all we're doing is rating what these things look like here. So this is Claudio's main costume. Here's the thing about Claudio. He's supposed to be like this exorcist priest guy, right? But like I don't get his aesthetic. I feel like in Tekken 7, which I believe this is the Tekken 7 outfit, I feel like in Tekken 7 his outfit kind of made more sense. And while the Tekken 8 outfit hasn't like completely changed from Tekken 7, it just feels stranger. It just feels stranger. It doesn't feel quite right. I think even like a color swap. A color swap might serve it. Like this I actually like. The purple kind of goes. And there's something about his hair that has never really sat right with me. So I'm gonna give this OG costume. I'm gonna focus on rating the main character costume, like the default costume, and then the alternate costumes. So for this first one, I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10. I'm just not super into it. It's not me. This is his alt. To me, this has a little bit more style. It kind of, I feel like, fits more with maybe the vibe of a fighting game in general, right? So like this one I'd probably rate like maybe 7.5, 8. I feel like it just kind of goes better, in my opinion, with the character itself too. So that's Claudio. Let's move on to Zafina. Zafina looks awesome in this game, and I'll tell you why. Look at this costume, and then let's take a look at what she was wearing in the last game in Tekken 7. Now, is this a good costume? Yes. And have they upgraded it from the actual Tekken 7 offering in this new one? Sure. But there's something about this new one. It just hits in all the right places. Yoshimitsu have his flag and Oni mask all? I don't know. He looked really weird in Tekken 7, and we'll get to him. I think is he on the second row? Yeah, he's on the second row, so we'll get to him. Yoshimitsu does look pretty different from Tekken 7, but Tekken 7 looked pretty different from historically what Yoshimitsu looked like, right? So it's just different. It's different. All right. Oh, I didn't rank her. Okay, so I'm gonna go, honestly, I'm gonna give her regular costume a 9 out of 10. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. Her alt, I like it a lot. I'm not gonna rank it quite as high though. I do love the color, but I'm gonna give this one an 8.5 out of 10. It just is really nice. It looks great. But that regular costume, there's something about it that just hits. It's good. I like it. All right, so moving on to one of the worst costumes, and I've actually created customs for each of these fighters that I'll show at the end of my ratings, just to give you guys an idea of what I like as far as the little custom options. I just kind of tweaked things for a lot of these characters. But Paul, oof, this Paul costume is bad. It's very bad. I would say in terms of style, I don't know. Old Paul, I mean, I'd almost prefer the flat top and the gi, because this is just, he looks homeless, right? He just looks homeless. So here's his alt, which is like, so it's like almost a 180 from what we just had. But again, it just, like, with the hair, it just doesn't fit for me at all. It doesn't fit. And so I think with the original costume, I'm gonna have to give that like a 3. And I give this one a 5.5. I give it a 5.5. At least he looks clean in this, right? He doesn't look like a bum. So original costume, we'll give this one a 3. Yep, it's gonna have to be a 3. And if I don't even think doing a color swap helps this. Honestly, it looks more gaudy. It looks worse. So the color swap doesn't help Paul. I think it's gonna be a solid 3 for the default, and then a 5.5 for the alt for me. That's where I'm gonna sit. You know, if you're a Paul lover, change my mind. Raven. So here's Raven's default. I actually don't like the direction they went for Raven in the last game or two. Honestly, my favorite outfit is of the available ones is probably his Tekken 7 outfit. He's self-described as a ninja, right? So like, I feel like that's what he should be, a ninja. And I feel like this costume accomplishes that. These new ones do not. Let's check out the alt. Oof. For me, that's even worse than. For me, that's even worse. Yeah, I don't like it. It just doesn't feel right. So for the default, I'm gonna have to give him a 5. Yeah, Dennis Rodman for sure. Dennis Rodman vibes. For the default, I'm gonna have to give it a 5. For this alt, I think I'm gonna have to go with. It's not way worse than the default, but it is worse. For sure. For sure it is. So I'm gonna have to give this one a 4. Right? I think that feels right. Now, Daddy Victor here. I don't know, man. This costume is tight. It works on a lot of levels for me, and I really dig it. I think his default costume is really good. Yeah, Victor is looking good. And when he pulls out the hand blades, it just makes it even better. Yeah, I'm gonna give this guy this default. I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. Actually, I think it's better than he's looked in the past. Because if we go to Tekken 7, it just doesn't look right. It looks like he went on golf clap, right? It looks like he went on vacation, and this is like the best that he could come up with. He's like just hanging out on the beach, but he also has a sword strapped to his side, right? So that's Tekken 7. All right, I might take some heat for this. I'm not a big fan of the tactical gear looks, okay? So while this looks good, I think his default is way better. So I'm not gonna rank this low because I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. So I'm gonna give this tactical gear look a 7. I think 7 is the best it can sit for me. The more I look at it, the more I actually like it, which is probably why I'm giving it a 7, because when I first clicked on it, I wanted to give it like a 6, but I think it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. The beret is not bad. All right, the next one's gonna be, I'm partial to her. I think she's the best character in this game. My favorite character in this game for sure. Reina, and I'm gonna give her default look a 10. It hits on a lot of levels for me. It's not overly complex. It's simple, but it's super effective. The hair match that's going with it is just a plus. I think this is gonna be my first 10 on the list. Not only because she's my favorite character, but just because I think her look it's just there from top to bottom. And I don't think she's gonna be the only 10 on my list, but she's the first because she just looks amazing. She's good. She just looks great. There's really enough said, right? Her alt is really cool too. I don't know that I like it quite as much, right? It's just not quite right. I really love the direction it's going in, this kind of samurai-esque outfit. Really cool idea, really, really cool. I just don't think it hits quite right for me. And so, still very strong. So I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. Almost a 9. It's very close to a 9. In fact, the longer I look at it, the more I want to give it a 9, but I'm gonna stay at 8.5. It's just a good look. It is. This one's goofy. I get it, but it's also goofy, so I'm not even gonna address it. All right. This is one of those rare ones that I feel like her default doesn't hit super great for me. Again, it's not that I hate it. It's just that I've seen her alternate and it's better. So for her default, I think I'm gonna put her at a 6.5. Don't hate it, don't love it. Now her alternate, I think this is an amazing look. I don't know why. I guess they were really trying to give her that like color and splash of like Peruvian vibe, but I think this should have been the default. It's an amazing costume. It's fantastic. The only thing that I would say take off is the hat, but like that's such a small piece of, and that's like me being picky, right? That's me being like, you don't need a hat on that. I think it's from top to bottom, it's an amazing costume. Not gonna give it a 10. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. That's a 9.5 for me. Strong 9.5 though. Big 9.5 vibes. Way better to me than the default for sure. But yeah, that's me. All right, Shaheen. Okay, so to talk about his default look, I think it's important to go back and look at his Tekken 7 look, right? So this is Tekken 7 look, I'm pretty sure. And it's good. What did they do? What did they change? What tweaks did they make on this default costume? Not a ton. And got a lot more color, right? But it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't speak to me personally. I can see how this is a very good costume, but for me, it just doesn't hit where I live. So I'm gonna give it a 6, right? Just because it's not my favorite, and I'm not super into looking at it. And the more I look at it, the less I like it. So I'm gonna give it a 6. It's not, like I said, it's not bad. It's just not for me. So that's where that one lives. And then here's his alt. I think his alt is very strong. For me, at least personally, way better than the default. I understand why it's not the default, because this is going for a very particular look, very particular vibe, but it's very strong. And so I'm gonna give this one to me is an 8. It's a solid 8 for me. I like a lot of what's going on here. And historically, I'm somebody who doesn't like sunglasses on fighting characters. But with this look, it totally works. It works on a really nice level, and I like it a lot. So I'm gonna give him an 8 on this alt. I think it's real good. Law. Okay. So again, to talk about Law, let's look at where he was at, right? This is Law in Tekken 7, and historically, this is like what Law looks like, right? So then let's go back. Let's go back and look at what they've done. To me, they've almost made him look like Liu Kang, which you could say Law and Liu Kang are both basically Bruce Lee ripoffs, right? Law probably more so in his look than anything else, but this is a really, really strong costume in my opinion. Like the deep down inside of me wants to rate it lower than I actually feel about it, but I'm just gonna go with how I feel, and I'm gonna say that this is a 9. I think it's a great look for Law. I think it has Bruce Lee in it, and it pushes the envelope just enough to give him his own kind of vibe and character that it changes the game a little bit. Now, here's the funny thing. I know I just said like I like that it pushes away from the stereotype, but his alt pushes in to that 70s Bruce Lee vibe, and I'm just gonna be honest, I love it. I think it's so good. This could be a 10 for me. I think I'm giving out 10s probably probably too easily, but I don't know what it is about this, but it's good. I like it a lot. I think the 70s pants, the belt, the sunglasses, again, sunglasses playing a much more favorable role than I would expect them to play. But yeah, it's definitely, it's Bruce Lee at his most interesting, at his finest. So I like this for Law a lot, right? All right, let's move on to Leroy. Leroy, again, I'm gonna keep doing this because let's just compare, right? Let's take this comparison. So this is him from Tekken 7, and it's very strong. It's a very strong costume, and look what they do. Look what they do in this game. They push it. They push it another step, right? They use a very similar coat, but you get to see underneath it. You get to see a really nice undershirt, a super awesome pair of pants, and it's the best he's ever looked. It's so good. And so Leroy gets a 10 for me too. His default gets a 10. It's just good. It's good on so many levels. His alt, very strong as well. I really like this vibe that his alt is going for. It's not as strong as his default for me. It's really not, but I do love it. And so I'm gonna give this alt an 8.5. It's got a lot of strong parts. I like the color scheme. I like the idea of the outfit. Again, I understand the hat. I get it. I know why it's there. This is one for me that could go without the hat. I think it would be extremely strong without the hat, but I get why the hat's there. It makes complete sense. And it looks great. So 8.5 for the alt. It's good. I like it a lot. All right. Now we come to a character I'm not thrilled about, Leo. German guy, got this kind of red, leathery looking jacket. Let's look at his old stuff. This to me is not really strong either. And Tekken 7 did this with a couple of characters. They had this idea for some reason to have chains dangling off the characters. And so this isn't the only one we'll see like this. Yeah, it does kind of look like Edward Elric, but not in a good way. Yeah, with the red coat, you're right, he's got an Edward Elric vibe, but it's not that strong for me. Like the vibe is, I get what you're saying, the vibe's there, and I like Edward Elric. I like Full Metal Alchemist, but it's not in a good way. So for this one, again, like it's not as poor of a showing as Paul. It really comes down to more of a personal preference for me. But I'm gonna go with a 5 on this one. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not into it. Not super into it. So let's check out his alt, which let me tell you, not doing much for me. The hat, the color scheme of the hat. Here's the thing: take off the purple and leave the brown coat. So maybe take off the hat, take off the scarf, leave the brown coat. I think you've actually got something there. I think you've got something potentially good there. But yeah, it's not good. So I'm gonna rate this a little. I guess I'll keep it. What did I rate his default? A 5. I'm gonna keep this at a 5 too. It's like it doesn't take me anywhere. It's kind of is what it is, right? Like, you know, nothing special. Okay, let's move on to Panda. So here's Panda, right? There's not much to Panda. She's a girl, you know. I feel like in this game at least, this is Tekken 7. I feel like in this game at least, they tried to make her look more feminine, right? They gave her accoutrement to look feminine. They you know that you're looking at a female panda when you're looking at this. It's kind of there, you know. There's no question about it. Because of that, I'm gonna rate it pretty good. I'm gonna give this a 6. I think Panda looks great, and I think she, you know, you can tell who she is, and you can see her personality, and it makes sense. So I'm gonna give Panda a 6. Her alt, I mean, it's just cute, right? Is that just cute or what? I feel like this is the kind of fun-loving thing you can get out of Tekken's goofier side. You get this cute little panda in a bee outfit. What more could you want? So I'm gonna rate the bee costume a little higher. I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. That's where Panda will sit for me. 7.5. Panda in the bee costume. It's pretty sweet. It's cute. Oh, poor Asuka. Now look, I think this is just for me knowing what Asuka looked like. So again, let's do the comparison, right? Let's look at Asuka. Here's what Asuka could look like. Here's what she has looked like. And for some reason, they just decided, hey, let's put her in this hat and this weird sweater thing, and it's not doing it for me. I'm just gonna rank it and move on. I'm gonna give this a 5. It's not my cup of tea. It just doesn't look great. Not for me personally. Her alt I like a lot more. I think it makes more sense. It makes more sense for her character, especially, you know, and it harkens back to a lot of the classic Tekken looks and the classic ways that she's looked, and it just makes more sense, I think, for the character. It's going in a direction that makes sense for her. So I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. I actually like it a lot. And you know what? I'm gonna bump it up to an 8. I like this. I like it a lot, and I think I'm rating it so high because to me it's such a contrast between her default costume and I don't know why story-wise they chose to have that default costume look that way, but this alt is just better. It just is. So I'm gonna give it an 8. I like it. All right, here we go with another guy that, like, let's make a comparison, right? He's wearing this battle armor and these like skiing goggles as his default costume, and I just have to ask, like, why? What made this decision? Because if you look at like his older style, like, that's great. That's so good. And then here's his alt, right? His alt looks great. Got this kind of weird tailcoat thing going on. I'll rate his alt first. I'm gonna give it a 7.5, but this default costume, this battle armor, it's just confusing. And to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense for the character, so I'm gonna give it another 5. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened, but it doesn't make sense, so I'm gonna give it a 5. 5, middle of the road, not great. All right, Xiao Yu. Again, let's make another comparison. So we have this Xiao Yu, right? Which looks good. She does. She looks good. Let's look at her. Let's look at this default costume. There are so many elements here that are working together. That are just great. They're great. I think this is the best Xiao Yu has ever looked. I think from the ribbons to the color scheme that they chose to the silveriness of her outfit, dress, whatever you want to call that, and then with the little golden feathers at the bottom. I think every piece of this was very well designed and well thought through, and so Xiao Yu gets a 10. I think this is, like I said before, this is the best she's ever looked. I think it looks great. It's one of my favorites for sure. Her alt, also good. It's cute, right? I feel like this alt is cute, and I feel like this is again one of those that kind of harkens back to the old Tekken, right? The old Tekken days. So I really dig the vibe that this is going for. But I'm not gonna rank it as high. I would say this is It's a 9. It's very, no, you know what? It's an 8.5. It's an 8.5. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. But it doesn't hit on as many levels as her default. Her default's just so good. It just really is. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5. All right, Jin. Now, historically, if you look at a historical standpoint of Jin, right? This is where we were in Tekken 7, right? Dark, brooding, dangerous. And then we go here to Tekken 8. And this is kind of like, you know, this is his he's kind of having a redemption arc, right? And so this outfit makes a lot of sense. It does. I'm just personally not the biggest fan of it. Does he look great? Yeah. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just not my favorite. So for me, this is an 8. This default's an 8. What I want to talk about is his alt. This alt, to me, at least, is like such a direct evolution of the character and the style of the character. It's just taking everything one step further. The only thing that I would say that takes it away for me are the weird leather arm straps. I don't hate them, but I also don't particularly understand them. They don't make a lot of sense to me. So for alt, I'm gonna give him a 9.5. Without the arm straps, the weird arm straps, this outfit would be a 10 for me. But there's something about those arm straps that just kind of pulls me out of it, right? So 9.5 for the alt. I think it's fun, but it's just not quite right. All right, moving on to Kazuya. So some people would argue, like, let's go look at Tekken 7. Some people would argue that this current default outfit is like the culmination of like this corporate scumbag evil dude. This is like taking that to the ultimate level, and this outfit like hits it right on the head. Is kind of where like the people want the character to be. That's what they want to see, right? They want to see the culmination of all of this scheming and plotting and corporate evil world domination-esque character that is Kazuya. And it is effective. I won't say it's not effective, because it is. But for me personally, it's not a 10 for me. It is very high. I'm gonna give this a 9.5. It's almost a 10, but for me it comes down to a more personal level with Kazuya. I like Kazuya's alt. I'm gonna give Kazuya's alt a 10. And some people would argue that Kazuya's alt is boring, but for me, this is more of a personal choice, right? I mean, I'm the one rating them, but this outfit to me just harkens back to when I first fell in love with Tekken and played as Kazuya. It's just a simple. It's so simple, right? It's pants. It's in the wide shot. It's pants. It's a tie. It's gloves and it's foot pads, and that's it. That's all it is. But this version of that is so much like. It's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly how I want Kazuya to look. And they did it, right? With this new fidelity that they can use on the new systems and the new Unreal Engine. They just hit it. They hit it hard. And I love it. I think it's perfect. This is perfect for me. So I'm gonna give this one a 10. That may be an unpopular opinion, but that's how I feel. All right, Nina. So Nina, you know, she's gone through a lot over the history of Tekken, but I think this default is almost the perfect kind of evolution for her, right? So you had this weird like wedding dress thing from Tekken. There was some story stuff behind that, but this leather jacket, purple dress, sunglasses, espionage look, it's good. It's really good. I'm gonna give this a 10. I think Nina looks great. I think she looks fantastic. I think the outfit that she has, it's elegant, but it's not like over the top. And I think it's fantastic. So I'm gonna give her a 10 on this one. Let's look at her alt. Her alt is very fun. Her alt's like Nina's out in the field, like undercover in like, you know, a country that's, you know, not only, you know, she's out there doing her spy thing, right? Takes her kind of espionage on the road. And it's fun. It's really fun. It's like this would be day wear, whereas the default would be night wear. And I like it a lot. I don't like it quite as much as the default. So with this one, I'm gonna give her a 9. Still, it's very good. It's just not perfect, right? I feel like that default is so perfect that I can't give this more than a 9. But it's very good. Love it. Hwarang. So again, let's look at this from a perspective of history, right? I'm not a big Hwarang fan. He's not somebody that I like to play with very often. But let's look at the history, right? You've got this weird eye patch, half jacket cape thing going on. What's with the eye patch? Especially when you see, you know, him here in Tekken 8, no eye patch. The guy doesn't need an eye patch. So what was the point, right? So while I don't particularly love this character, I would say they've made a very positive shift in the way that they're styling him. So for me, this default is a 7.5. It looks good. I like it. I don't absolutely positively love it, but it's leaps and bounds better than what historically we've had. Here's his alt, and his alt, so it's like this weird thing, right? It's very colorful, very out there. You know what it reminds me of? If you ever saw Batman Forever, and there's like these neon paint gangsters, like crime, like syndicate that hangs out in Gotham, and Robin goes and like stops them on his own, and then Batman has to jump in and get involved and kind of save his ass. Like that's what this makes me think of. With the eye patch, man, I'm just like, why do we don't need an eye patch? What do we need that for? All that being said, I do like that they really went for it with this costume. So I'm gonna give it a 6. Because it's not that I hate it. I don't hate it. But I also don't really like it that much. So I'm gonna give it a 6. I think 6 is where that's gonna sit. Fang. So Fang, it's just like, I like Fang. Look at all the stuff they put on him. The nail gauntlet, the shoulder dragon, the spiky leg piece, all the inlay, the gold inlay on everything, the fringe on the shoulder. The other gauntlet's completely different from the right gauntlet. The big earrings. It's just, it's cool, but it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Too much. So while I love the colors, and I totally get where they're going with this. I totally get where they're coming from. I'm gonna give this one a 7 because it's not in the upper echelon for me. But let's talk about this alt. This alt, love it. So I mean, look at it. I mean, tell me you don't love this. This, you know, he's the ancestry, the Chinaman here with this deep red suit with the black embroidery, black gloves, black loafers. Looks mean as hell. This is like so fun and so awesome. This for me is a 10. This brings Fang where I want him to be. Super cool, super fun to look at. Love it, absolutely love it. All right, are you still there, my friend Rope? Because we're talking about Yoshimitsu. Okay, here's the thing about Yoshimitsu. Love the blue and red palette. Love it. There's some weird stuff going on with this though. And I'll tell you why. Alright. It's like, it's almost like a crab. That's like what it reminds me of. Right? Or some kind of sea creature. I think it's all the blue, honestly. And while that's not a bad thing, it also doesn't quite fit right with the character. Now here's the thing, I still love it. I love this costume. I think it's so good. It doesn't hit a 10 for me. It's a 9. It's a strong 9. Close to a 9.5. But I know what Yoshimitsu has looked like in the past. And so for that reason, I'm ranking it slightly lower. Stick around though, my custom of Yoshimitsu, I think you're gonna enjoy it. I made a custom of Yoshimitsu and I think it looks really good. I think you're gonna enjoy it. So let's look at his alt. For me, his alt is like, it's like giving off the vibe of like a god, right? It's super interesting to look at, but it's not something I want to stare at all the time, you know? It's fun. It really is. It's really fun, but it's just not quite right. Yeah, you're right. Like an Aeon summon. You're right. It does kind of give off that vibe as well. A Yojimbo vibe, if you will. Man, it's not bad though. I like it. I do like this a lot. I'm not gonna rank it as high as his default. For me, this is gonna be an 8. Yeah. It's gonna be an 8 for me on this one. Now, just for our own edification. Yeah, I was about to say the Tekken 7 design. That's what I was about to say. For our own edification, look at this weird shit. I don't understand. What were they doing? What were they thinking when they came out with this design? I mean, it's not the default of the alt, so I'm not gonna rank it, but it is just weird. It's very like xenomorph alien type of thing. It reminds me honestly of that oh shoot, what is that game? It was a game that came out on, yeah, that's a good description. Xenomorph meets Fifth Element. I like that actually a lot. But it also reminds me of this game that came out where the aliens were invading, and it was a strategy game where you moved your guys around on the board and shot at the aliens. Gosh, what is that game called? It's gonna drive me crazy. But yeah, it just isn't. It's not it, right? This one's fun. Let's look at the color swap. I didn't look at the color swap. XCOM, thank you. XCOM Enemy Unknown. That's exactly the game I was thinking of. You know, I like the color swap a lot. I think I still like the blue and red better. But the color swap is good. I think they're both very strong. Alright. Kuma. So, in order to understand Kuma's default, let's look at where he came from in Tekken 7, right? He had this weird bear armor. And so I think what they were trying to do is Heihachi is not in this game, right? Heihachi's not here. So I feel like what they were trying to do with Kuma, because Kuma was Heihachi's pet, is they're trying to give Kuma some Heihachi notes, right? So they have torn vest, they have wrapped arms, they have a bandana. Like, they're just trying to kind of attach Kuma to Heihachi, and I think it works. I think it works well. I think it's the best probably Kuma has looked in a while. That being said, it's not amazing, right? So I'm gonna give this an 8. It's very good. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't hit hard, right? It's still pretty fun though. And then I don't know what kind of One Piece stuff they were smoking when they came up with this, but this is straight up Luffy. It's fun, but I don't get it. right? It's fun. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. Smokey the Bear, sure. Could give you some Smokey vibes. For me, this is a 6.5. A 6.5. I get it, or I don't get it. It's just not that fun to look at, honestly. All right, Lily. I think, honestly, she's probably one of the strongest characters designs. I love this costume. Let's go back and look at Tekken 7 by comparison. I think Tekken 7 was kind of like, let's make this character look good, and then they took what they did in Tekken 7 and just ramped it up, right? For me, this hits on every single level, and I think it's perfect for this character. So I'm gonna give her a 10. I think she looks fantastic. I really do. Even if you're not a Lily fan, just like the design, just from a design standpoint, I think she looks great. Fantastic. But yeah, that's a 10 for me. Let's look at her alt. Her alt I like a lot too. I feel like her alt's like she's going out to a nightclub or something. It's not a 10 for me. It's very close. I'm gonna give it a 9. I like it a lot, but it just doesn't. It does completely match the personality of the character. And if we're being honest, this particular costume is a little fan servicey, and for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 9. Like it. It's not the best thing that's ever happened in the world. So that's Lily. Alyssa. Alright, so let's look at where Alyssa was. Let's do a comparison. So this is where we were, right? And she looked pretty interesting, pretty good. So they decided to kind of, I feel like in this game, they decided to cutesy her up, right? Yeah, you're right. Azucena is fan service, and you know why? She's the only character that, let's talk about that for a second before we move on to Alyssa. She's the only character by default that has a bikini. And I gotta tell you, with this Unreal Engine, this is like as fan servicey as it gets. I'm gonna get banned for even showing her. Like, this is pretty nuts how fan servicey she is, especially like jumping around and bouncing. Let's move back on to Alyssa. Yeah, you're right. Azucena, fan service for sure. So here's her new design, and I think they just kind of cutesied it up. But here's the thing for me: it's too much. I think it's too much. I think they took it in an interesting direction. What really kills it for me is the pillbox hat. Not a fan of it myself. So, while I think she looks great, for me this is only going to be like a 7. You know, she looks good. She looks really good. But there's too many weird elements that I feel like are just added just cuz. I feel like they didn't have a complete thought. Like, this wasn't a completely thought out design before it was created, right? It was kind of like, let's stick some stuff on here, right? So let's look at her alt. And her alt, honestly, to me, is almost worse. I mean, I'll just say it is worse. It's worse. It's like so. It's almost just boring, right? It's like they pulled a design from like a Alita type battle angel, mechanical fighter Evangelion type situation, and they just plopped it down and said, here it is. And so it's kind of boring, to be fair. I'm not a big fan of it. So this one for me, the more I look at it, the more I don't like it. I think this is going to go down to a 5.5. That's a big drop from her default, but it's just, to me, it's just not good. I just don't like it. Don't like much about it. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, let's talk about Lars. Okay, let's talk about it. The color. I think that's the biggest issue I have with this. You've got this guy who, by all rights, if we look at Tekken 7, should be wearing like this super streamlined, costume. He's got quick movements. He moves quick. He's very strong. Got a lot of strength behind his blows. He's He's a part of the Heihachi bloodline. And he should just be... He should be in something like this from Tekken 7. This thing, it's just bulky and weird, right? I think the color swap helps it a little bit. Let's look at the color swap. I think honestly, the red and the black does more for me than the default, right? If this was the default that was given to us, I'd be in a better position to rank it. But I'm gonna have to go and just rank this one. And because of that, the color choices, the weird kind of outfit that I feel like doesn't go with the character, I'm gonna give this one a 5.5 as well. It just, there's too many things that I can pick on with this costume, and it just like overall just doesn't fit the character to me. Let's look at his alt. Now if we're looking at his alt, this is actually a lot of fun, and this is kind of what I would like to see as more of a default type costume for Lars. I get story-wise why this is not the default. It makes more sense for the costume to look a little different for the main storyline, but this is way better to me. I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. No, you know what? I'm gonna give it an 8. I like this one a lot, and I think it's way better, way better than his default. So I'm gonna give this one an 8. I feel confident about that. I feel confident. All right, June. Look, man, maybe people aren't June fans out there. I can't say enough positive things about this design. She looks. Let's look at her classic, right? So they put this classic one in there because she hasn't been in Tekken in a while. This is her classic, right? So just imagine this, and then let's take it to the evolutionary step. And I talked about this when I played as her during the character episodes. Everything about this design to me, from her fighting style to the clothing and the way it moves and the way it looks as she fights, is just a thing of beauty. It's just so pretty to look at. The fabric, the way they've got the lighting on this fabric, in this fidelity, it's just gorgeous, and it's so real, and everything is soft just the way that in the right places. Everything flows the way it should. Look, I'm saying all these positive things. Obviously this is a 10 for me. She looks fantastic. I cannot say enough positive things about this. And think about it. Look, this is where we were. This is where we came from, right? And then this is where we are. It's just beautiful. And you know, we joked about this the other night, right? That she doesn't look old enough to be the guy on the left. She doesn't look old enough to be his mother. This outfit gives her that matron-y look without sacrificing the youth of her like physical appearance, right? So it kind of like just works on a lot of levels. I think it's really great. Here's her alt. Beautiful. It's pretty. Not anywhere. I don't feel like this one touches her default. Her default's so amazing. I like this one a lot though, so I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because I do really like it. But you can't beat her default. It's so good. It's so good. They knew exactly how to design June, and she's very important to the story, the main story of this game. So that makes sense that they worked hard on her design. But it's just so good. I think it may be the best designed character in this game, in my opinion. I think she's so well designed. It's fantastic, and it's good that we get to play as her too. She's not just a part of the storyline. So that's awesome. Love it. All right, Devil Jin. All right, let's look at where Devil Jin came from. Right. This is weird. This is weird and shitty. It's crappy. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. This is where it came from. So when we're comparing the two side by side, I'd say this is great, right? This is like Devil Jin. He's got kind of Kazuya's look, right? So let's go back and look at Kazuya. Uh-oh, audio's weird, doing weird stuff. Let's go back and look at Kazuya. Kazuya looks good. Devil Jin, you kind of see the resemblance, right? You kind of see the connections that they're drawing. of the demons, right? They're both there. It's in there. So we've got this look that's the same as Kazuya's look, because Kazuya represents the devilishness of Jin, right? And his alt is not bad. I like the open coat. It's kind of fun. It's fun to look at, but it's not like amazing, right? So based on where he was and where he is now, I'm gonna say that this one for me is gonna be an 8.5, and I'm gonna rate the alt around the same. To me, they're about the same, 8.5s. They're not they don't knock it out of the park completely for me, but they're they're both very strong. They're both very strong. Okay, Jack. Oh god, Jack. Let's look where Jack came from. All right, Jack in Tekken 7. Looks weird, right? Jack always looks weird though. Jack in Tekken 8. I just don't get it. I don't get Jack. Look, I'm gonna be unfair. This is me being unfair, right? Let's go back to the default for a second. Jack default. It's gonna be a 4. It's gonna be a 4 from me. That's one of the lowest ones that I've ranked. I think I think the only one lower was Paul. I think I gave Paul a 3 or a 4. His alt though, the only reason that I kind of like this is it's kind of got a cyberpunk feel to it, and I feel like that does a great service to the character of Jack. I think that's what Jack needs, right? If he has this cyberpunk element to him, he becomes a more interesting character, in my opinion. So I'm gonna give this a 6, because it's good. It's better, at least than what else we had. I just don't like Jack either, so. Oh, let's move on to my boy, the man, the myth, the legend, King. All right, so there's been a lot of King costumes over the years, and I have to be honest, this one's not my favorite, but when we compare it to Tekken 7, here's Tekken 7, right? Very good. I like the leopard print on the cape, but it looks kind of plain. So when you look at this one, and you see all the extra like accoutrement, all the extra little pieces that they've put together here, it just gives you a sense of a more complete character to me. So while I do really like 7, the reason I'm gonna say this is superior is because the Jaguar head in 8, now the Jaguar head looks the same obviously because they've upgraded 7 to look better, right? But the Jaguar head in 8 just looks better to me. It's got a more, it just everything comes together better, right? So like for me, this is probably one of the better King outfits. There have been past King outfits that I've loved a lot better, but because of how good this looks and the high fidelity that it's in, I have to rank this pretty high. For me personally, this is an 8.5. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at 8.5. I think it's, no, you know what? No, 8.5. I'm gonna stick with 8.5. I'm not gonna second guess it. 8.5 for me. It's good. I like it a lot. It's good. Sometimes simple is better though. Now let's look at this alt. All right. I just have to say, what is this? What did they do to my boy? The king himself. Here's what I would say. If it wasn't for the mask, this would be very good. I would love it if it wasn't for that damn mask. Put the leopard mask back on his head and give me this costume with the leopard mask, and I'd be all over it. This would be easily a 9 for me if he had the leopard mask on, but this weird freaking mask, I don't know what it is. I don't like it. The more I look at it, the more I stare into its beady little eyes, the more I hate it. So, because I like the rest of the costume so much, I'm gonna give this a 6.5. I like it. Oh, I want to like it so much more, but that mask just kills the costume for me. It just ruins it, which is really a shame. because it's a pretty fun costume, except for that mask. The mask is terrible. It's so bad. All right, Steve. Oh, Steve, stop moving around, Steve. Where do I start with Steve? All right, how about we start with what Steve looked like before? All right, Steve's a boxer. That's his MO. Look, he's got these boxing gloves on. Excuse me. I should have brought some water in here. I'm talking a lot and I didn't bring any water. All right, he's a boxer. That's who he is. That's what Steve is. So it's baffling to me, this coat. This coat is absolutely baffling. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's gaudy. It's weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense for it to be something that a boxer would wear while fighting. Not even makes a whole lot of sense for a boxer to wear when he's walking up on to the ring. Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And for that reason, I'm gonna have to give it a 6. I don't hate it. There's some things I like about it, but the whole design, just not good. Not good. All right. So this design, I actually like. Even though he's wearing a big coat, like, this is like Steve. This is like Street Fighter Steve, you know what I mean? He's got a big furry coat, fuzzy, he's going out into the streets looking to get into a brawl. I feel like that's the vibe that this version of Steve is giving to me, right? I like it. I think it looks good. It makes a lot more sense to me than the other one, at least. The other costume, it doesn't make a ton of sense. This is the kind of coat he would walk up and then he would take it off when he started boxing, right? When he was getting in a street brawl, but it makes sense. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'm not a big Steve fan, so that's probably why I'm not ranking it higher. I don't get Steve. But 7.5, why not? Yeah. All right, Dragunov. Now, here's kind of like the flip side of the coin, right? Because we had Steve just now, and this is where Dragunov was in 7. Looked pretty good. Looked very militaristic, obviously. And then this is where they took him in 8, right? This coat is perfectly suited to his character. The shirt design, I love it. It's this deep Henley button-down shirt. Makes complete sense. The belt buckle, the pants, I think everything's really working with this costume. All that being said, it's not like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So for that reason, I'm gonna give him a 9. I like it a lot, a whole lot. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, right? All right, so here's the alt, and I think they really did themselves a disservice, right? Because they've completely covered his face. He's wearing this like Splinter Cell-esque gear, which is cool, it's fun, but like the helmet, man, they should have taken it off. It just doesn't look good with the helmet, you know? Maybe take the visor and put it like down below his chin, like he was gonna pull it up later, or even maybe on top of his head so we can see his eyes. Like something, give us something, because I feel like this was kind of a swing and a miss for me. I'm gonna rate this pretty low. I'm gonna give it a 5.5. Not a big fan of it at all. I really think they kind of hurt the character with this alt. All right, last but certainly not least, Brian Fury. Brian Fury, look, he looks good, right? He looks like Brian Fury. I like this design from Tekken 7 better. I like it better. The only thing I would say I don't like about the design from Tekken 7 is the bandana. Maybe if he had the bandana pulled down and it was around his neck, I would have liked that a little bit better. But I like Tekken 7's design. The green jacket is dope. This design, I get it. I get what it is. I feel like we've seen it too many times before, right? We've got Law. He looks like a lot like this. And it just doesn't do enough, right? It's not terrible. It really is not. And so I'm gonna give this a 7. Let's look at his alt real quick. This screams Wesker to me, right? Resident Evil. Like this, that's just what it looks like. And it's so derivative in that sense that I'm gonna give this the same as I gave the default. It's a 7. It's good. It's not fantastic. I get where it's coming from. I get the vibe. I get the feel. But it's just not... It doesn't hit for me completely. So, I'm gonna give it a 7. Yeah, but no, let's look at Tekken 7 again. I think this is a great costume. Again, the green jacket's so cool. Bandana, if they just pulled it down, I think it'd be perfect. But yeah, those are my ratings for all the costumes. That's what I got, you know? Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing it. I like talking about Tekken and the costumes and stuff. Stick around if you want to hang out, and you can see some of the custom ones that I've made. I've kind of like put some thought, not into all the characters. Some characters, I looked at their defaults, and then I looked at some custom options, and I said, you know what? It's not going to get any better. So I'm just going to leave it be. But check out some of my my customs here. Claudio, you know, I had some problems with, right? So I made a custom, and it looks like this. I think the hair just needed brightening up, honestly. And I think that the costume looks better if he's got kind of light hair. I think it changes quite a bit, even though really, if you notice, the only thing I really changed was the hair. That was really it, right? But I feel like that small tweak, if you just look at it, I don't know, for me, when I was making customs, I was like, this just looks better. I like this better. So that's why I did that. So that's my custom Claudio. I didn't change much, right? Didn't do much. Zafina, here's my custom. I think it's similar to this default. Let's look. So what did I do? I know what I did. I know exactly what I did. If you look here, it's her new costume, which I ranked very high. So the only thing that I did was I took off the hood. And I think it adds something. I really do. I like it a lot. Like, I'm pretty sure I gave Zafina a 10 for her default, and I think this goes this takes it one step further. I think the hood you could do away with. And that's why all I did was tweak it. I just took the hood off because I really liked Zafina's design from top to bottom. I think without the hood, it just gives that little extra, you know? So the hood's, there's nothing wrong with the hood, but I think without it, you get more. I think you get more. Oh, I didn't know what to do with Paul. I had to change Paul because I thought he looked disgusting, right? So I took him back to the classic Paul look, right? I gave him a flat top. I gave him a black gi with some boxing gloves, and I think this just took him to a classic place that I was more comfortable with, right? He looks younger. He looks way younger. The flat top has never been my favorite hair design, you know? I'm not saying that I love the hair design, but it just makes more sense. I feel like he looks good, you know? I see this Paul and I'm like, I could play. Yeah, it looks not homeless. I could play with this Paul. He looks fun. It's a fun guy, right? Happy fun time Paul, not sad hobo Paul, right? And not like weird Avenger Paul. I don't know. Yeah, he pays rent. Yeah. Raven, I think I talked about Raven, right? For me, Raven looks best in his ninja outfit. So that's what I did. I put him in a ninja costume. I did a couple color palette swaps. It's really simple, but I like it. I just like seeing it. I think it looks good. Makes sense. For me, ninja should be covered up. We're not. This isn't Naruto. This is Tekken, man. So gives good vibes. I like it, and it makes more sense because he's got the beak. He's Raven. You know, it's really not that much different from his Tekken 7 outfit. It really isn't. Really, the only thing I did, couple color palette swaps. I gave him the beak. Those were pretty much the main things I changed between that Tekken 7 look. So, I think I like it. All right, Victor. Did I do an ult for Victor? I like Victor a lot. I did. What did I do? Oh, I know what I did. All I did was take off his sunglasses. That's all I did, because I like him without the sunglasses. There are some characters, like I said, that sunglasses look really good on and kind of add to their look. I liked him without the sunglasses for this default look. I think he looks better. There's nothing wrong with the sunglasses. Sunglasses look good, right? There they are. They look fun. But you could almost argue that the sunglasses are more intimidating. But for me, like, this was more Victor. Like, you get to see the man behind the glasses. He's got that piercing stare. To me, that was better. So, Reina, I really didn't change much. All I did was a color swap. I liked her outfit so much, but you know, I was like, what does it look like in red? Right? What does she look like if her hair's red and her outfit's red? And I think it does a lot for the character. I like it a lot. That's this is how I see Reina in my head with red, right? The purple's cool. The purple's really fun. And purple makes a lot of sense because of who this character is, but the red, to me, I was like, let's take it there. Let's put red in there. And I think she looks great. I like it a lot. I think it's fun. So, you know, you guys be the judge. Purple, it's real flashy. Red's a little more muted, but I think it's fun. I think it's good. What did I do for Azucena? Nothing. I put her in a bikini, probably. Yeah, I put her in a bikini. Well, I don't know why. She was already in a bikini. What did I do? I think I changed her hair. Did I change her hair like, no. Why did I even make a custom? I think that must have been one I abandoned. I think like I started to make a custom and then didn't finish it. I think that must have been what I did with her, because she looks exactly the same as her bikini, so. Shaheen. I think, again, this is one I didn't do a lot of tweaking to. Yeah, I didn't. Literally all I did, take off his hood. That's it. But I think it adds quite a bit. I think being able to see his hair, his brow, I think it just adds something that was missing from the original design, for me, at least. I don't think he needed the hood. Kind of the same with Zafina, right? Let's see their heads, let's see their faces. Same with Victor, I just took off the sunglasses. Like, let me just see something. I don't need to change everything. Let me just tweak it. Let me see what I can get. All right, what did I do for Law? Did I just take off? Yeah, I just took off. I took off the armbands. I added facial hair, and I gave him a headband. That's all I did. Right? I think there's a lot more going on here. I think the facial hair makes him look a lot more rugged. The headband kind of adds to that Bruce Lee-esque vibe, right? And I think taking off the armband just simplifies his design a little bit and lets you see his arms. Like, just looks good. I think it was fun. It was fun to just like tweak him just a bit, right? Just a little bit. So that's what I did with him. Let's go back and see the original. Here's original. Oh yeah, I guess I took off the necklace too, looks like. Did I? Oops. Yeah, I took off the necklace. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Leroy, what did I do with Leroy? Did I just take off the sunglasses? Yeah, I think I just wanted to see his face. I don't know that I like this better than the default. I think what I was really going for is like, sometimes I might want to see Leroy's face, so let me just take off the sunglasses. And that way, like, I can just look at him, right? I think that's the reason I did that. I think I actually like him better with the sunglasses, but I was just giving myself that option. I don't think I did anything with Leo. No, I didn't. I just looked. We've already skipped past, we'll just skip past Leo. Not a big fan. There wasn't a lot that could be done with him, I felt like, that was interesting. So, we skipped on Leo. Skipped on Panda too, because I mean, Panda's just cute. There's not a lot of ways you can change Panda, I don't feel like. So I kind of just left her. Asuka, did I change Asuka? I think I did. What did I do with Asuka? That's right. So I put her back in this outfit, but what I did was I swapped. I did a color swap. I swapped some of the colors. Like, I made them darker. Yeah, she's got these bright blue gloves, blue pants, red shirt, and all I did was like, you know what? Let me just darken that up just a little bit, just to give her something different. And so, didn't do a ton to her. Just changed her just a tad. Kazuya. I think what I did was I just swapped out his... Did I swap out his colors even? What did I do? Did I do nothing? Did I just make a custom for no reason? I think I just made a custom for no reason. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I did anything. I like this Kazuya look so much. I really don't think I changed much. Did I change the color of the belt? No. I changed the color of the gloves. No. I don't know what I did. Nothing, I guess. Nina! I changed Nina a bit.
Let's get this over.
Alright, I made her hair longer. I took the sunglasses off. I took the leather jacket off. And I changed her dress, her outfit from purple to black. And this was like, you know, the leather jacket, purple dress was like nighttime espionage Nina. What I wanted was like knockout Nina going to like a big event, like a secret, like a gala, and she's like, you know, spying around in this like big event. And I think it works, honestly. I like her hair just a little bit longer. You can see her face. The dress going from purple to black just makes it look more classy for like an event if you were gonna go to one. So you know, didn't do a ton of stuff, but just made her slightly different. I think it's fun. You can see her little leg daggers, so maybe that was a bad choice, but did I mess with Warang? I didn't. Since I'm not a big fan of his, I really didn't mess with it. And his default's not bad, it really isn't. So I left that as is. Fang, did I do anything with Fang? I did not. I think because I loved this so much, I was like, how can I top this? It's so good. It's so good. How can I top it? So I didn't mess with him. All right, are you ready, buddy? Are you ready for Yoshimitsu Custom? I think you're gonna love it. I really do. I think you're gonna like this. Check it out. So, maybe the wings are too much. Maybe I need to pull it back. But I was like, you know what? The alt's kind of God mode. Let's go full God mode. Let's give him the multiple heads. Let's did I even change his sword? Because you can customize his sword a little bit. I think I didn't. I think I left it as the default sword. But like full God mode. I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good. I like it. The multiple heads thing really did it for me. It also like harkened back to me for when I played Final Fantasy VII for the first time, and Yuffie's dad turns into like a multi-headed like beast creature. That's kind of like where this hit me. It looks pretty much the same. He's got this like exactly, and like in the game his head's like spin around. So that's kind of like the interesting thing to me that I thought. Did I do anything with Kuma? I think I turned him into a polar bear. Yeah. I was like, because here's polar bear Kuma, right? But I was like, give me straight polar bear. I just want straight polar bear. You know, no gimmicks, no clothing. This is Kuma. He's just a terrifying polar bear. That's what I wanted, right? And that's what he looked like in one of the Tekken games, one of the old games. He was just straight up polar bear. So, it's fun. Lily, what did we do with Lily? Did I change her hair color? No, I didn't. Okay, so I know what I did. Let's look at it closely. If you notice, here's her regular outfit. So what I did was I color swapped it and I took off the sleeves. Right? I took off the shoulder sleeves. And I think this kind of just makes her look more femme fatale-ish. I think that's what I was going for with this. So, just a fun Fun little change. I think it looks more like a femme fatale. It's more fun, in my opinion. I didn't know what to do with Alyssa. I honestly didn't. I was like, maybe if I do this like this weird like Evangelion thing, but I color swap it, maybe it'll look better. I hate it. I really don't like it. I was just experimenting and it didn't work. It didn't work. Honestly, this color swap of her regular default is actually not bad. I actually like it okay. But yeah, my custom is bad. It's V bad. It's not good. June, did I mess with June at all? I did. The only thing I did on June, kind of like Lily, I took the sleeves off. Because, and the only reason I did that was because it looked a little different, and it harkens back, I think, to old June, right? Old June's outfit, sleeveless, right? And so I was like, I love the elegance of the new outfit, but what would it look like without the sleeves? And so that's what we did. We just took the sleeves off, and I think it looks great. I can't decide if I like this better than the default. They're both very strong for me, though. I like it a lot, because I feel like I get the best of both worlds here. I get classic June and new June in one place. It's fun. It's cool. Devil Jin. What did I do with Devil Jin? Just took it all off. Oh, yeah. And I swapped his hair color for white. I thought, what might look cool? Let's take off, like, the jackets. Let's let his devilish form kind of hang out. I feel like the white hair added something devilish to it. I feel like it added like being drained of life. You know, the white hair. It's almost like a Saiyan transformation or like a DBZ transformation, right? It's just let's make the hair white. Let's drain it of all color, right? So that's kind of where I was going with that. I think it's effective. I think it looks good. I like it. Jack 8. Did I even mess with Jack 8? No, because I hate Jack 8. Moving on. King, my boy. For King, I was like, you know, if my boy's getting in the ring, if he's gonna wrestle, let's just take the cape off. You know, let's see that tail that he's got tucked back there. Let's see him in all his muscly glory. So I just took the cape off. That's all I did. No biggie, no big thing. Did I think actually, now that I say that, I think I swapped some of the colors on the pants. I did. So I took the cape off and I swapped pants color. I just made things a little darker, and I think it looks a little more interesting to me that way. Not as busy, and more fun. Steve, did I fix Steve? What did I do to Steve? Yeah. I'm hesitant on Steve, right? I color swapped his shirt. I took his coat off because the coat looked ridiculous. And I color swapped his shirt to black, but with the blue and the red and the white, I don't know that it goes super well. So I think I made a misstep with the shirt color. I think I need to go back and fix that. I don't think it looks quite right. But it's not bad. Better without the coat off, I think. In my opinion. Did I do anything with him? Yeah, I did. I just did a few simple things, and you can see. I swapped the coat color, the shirt color, his hair color, his glove color. That's pretty much it. I just made little tiny adjustments to him. And I think he looks more interesting. I was just trying to make him look more interesting. And I think I accomplished that. Right? He just looks more, to me anyway, he looks more interesting. Probably should try to see if I can get a better coat on him, but the coat looks good. It's not bad. Did I do anything with Brian Fury? I did. What did I do with Brian Fury? Let's see. This is default Brian Fury. This is my Brian Fury. What did I do? Did I... Okay. I think I see what I did. I think I changed his eyes. I think I changed his eye color, which is kind of hard to tell. And I think I did a couple of color swaps on his clothing, not many. Maybe not even that. But I can tell I wanted his eyes to kind of glow. And so that's what I did. I know I changed his eyes. I'm not sure about what else I changed. But those are my customs. So